Well, I'd like to say good evening. We're glad that you're here with us today, and if you're watching online, we'd like to welcome you as well to the November 13th called meeting / work session. So with that, we'll call it to order. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, sir. And first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda, so I'll make that recommendation.
Thank you, ma'am. Board, I have a recommendation to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item under superintendent's report is the school governance team update. Each school had a school governance team meeting between October board meeting and this board meeting. And I will have Ms. Collins just to go through that quickly and let the public know that you can see this attachment online if you go to our website and go to Assembly, and that the official minutes for each school governance team meeting is housed in-house at the school site. And just some highlights that was on it this time for the different schools is they had their Cognia reviews, talked to their teams about that, chronic absenteeism, which the state of Georgia is fighting against, trying to get kids in school on a more frequent basis. There was federal budget discussions. They discussed student data and upcoming school events, with November and December being full of that. And then, of course, you can look on there and see the latest fundraisers and facility use request. So the next item on superintendent's report is the SPLOST collection update. And that collection, September, correct, Ms. Collis, $897,218.34. So we are blessed. And Mr. Chair and Board, the next item on the agenda is something that we've not historically done, but I'm excited to have an agenda item for the Fannin County School System Community Partners recognition. One thing that we are blessed with in this community in Fannin County is having a lot of community partners. And even though we may not have an MOU signed or a contract agreement or those kind of things, we have a working agreement where we have a lot of people and a lot of organizations that support our school system, a lot of official community organizations and individuals. And one of those organizations is Snack in the Backpack. And with that said, I'd like to invite Chairman May and Director Nunnally forward to talk to us about Snack in the Backpack and what all you do to benefit our school system.
First of all, we want to say thank you for having us. As business partners, we're very thankful to get to do what we do and to take care of the children in this community. I know there's several new board members, so I'm just going to give you a little history. Snack in the Backpack started in 2009, and it started by teachers who had children very lethargic on Mondays, and they realized that these kids were not getting enough food to eat during the week. So Snack in the Backpack started 60 bags a week. This year is our 16th year, and we're doing over 700 bags a week.
Wow.
So if you guys are interested,
Give it to Ms. Weeks and she can pass it down.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough for you all to give me a tour of the facility, so
Yeah.
I was very blessed.
So that's a sample of the bags that we do every week. They get two non-perishable, everything's non-perishable except for apples. We get apples from the Sears. Last year, during the school year, they gave us 277 bushels of apples. So we put the apples in the bags. They get two non-perishable milks. They'll get a juice box. They'll get 2 cereals. They'll get cans of protein, macaroni and cheese, snack bars, granola bars, non-perishable yogurt. Yes,
Can I get you to talk into that? There are other people listening to us out
Oh,
there.
I'm
and
sorry.
They won't be able to hear you, so I hate to interrupt you there, but.
No, thank you.
All right.
So we're doing 700 bags a week. We have over 100 volunteers that help us every single week. They do packing bags. They deliver to the schools. We do prep teams. We're servicing 14 different locations, so all 3 elementary schools, the middle school, the high school, 2 crisis centers, Open Arms, MACA, Head Start, Milestone, Learning Tree, and we are sending some bags across to Polk County now, about 140 over there because their program stopped. So we're also doing, you want to hold that up, Mike? We're also doing teacher boxes now because we had a real hard time getting into the high school, you know, with the stigma of bags and trying to reach more kids. What we started doing is these teacher boxes. So teachers have them in their classrooms. They can grab and give snacks out to the kids. And we're doing 57 of those a week, every other week for the high school, and the same number probably for the elementaries and middle on the opposite weeks. So during the 24-25 school year, we delivered 74,140 meals to children. We did 127,000 bags of foods was packed and distributed, and we were doing about 50 teacher bags a week. So in addition to that, we also do back to school bash, we do shop with the cop, we do several other different little things like when people need. We have a summer meal program that kind of bridges the gap for the 8 weeks between the school year that we partner with other people and churches in town and deliver to families for those. So now with what's going on with the government, we are actually doing some family bags this upcoming week. We're going to pack 120 on Monday, and several of those will go to the schools to distribute as they see needed, and the others will go to our summer meal program people. So I've got some newsletters, our latest one for you guys to have, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mike.
Quick
And-
question for you.
Uh-huh.
All the funding, is that all local funding or y'all?
Yeah, it's all local. We're not part of any government program. We're a one-off backpack program. We're not associated with any others. So it's all local. Most of our food comes from the Chattanooga Food Bank. Last year, they delivered to us 525,000 pounds of food. We do source some locally because the high school's nut-free, so we do that. But everything's pretty much just local.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Ms. May, if you don't mind, and Mr. Langley before, and what they don't say is they're talking about the food in, but I know in our schools, it's also turned into a service project. Their volunteers, when they come, actually work with some of our students and they teach them how to organize and deliver to teachers and those kind of things as well.
Yeah. This week, the Key Club joined us packing on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Again, thank you all for having us here. And understand, I have been with SNAC since about 2012. I've seen the highs, I've seen the lows. I always am an optimist, and I think that we're going to eliminate food insecurity in my lifetime. Mm-hmm. That's my hope. And we're still doing it. Now, when we first started packing, we were doing about 200 or 300 bags a week. And I thought that was pretty hefty. When I saw in the paper this past year, at the beginning of the school year, we were going to be on free breakfast, free lunch, I thought, we're going to go down this year. We're going to be able to manage this. We went from 450 last year to 700 this year. I guess if you build it, they will come.
Yes.
Okay? So we will continue to build it. And in partnership with you, 90% of our monies goes directly to the children in schools at Fannin County. So we feel you are our customer, and if we're doing something wrong, we'd like to hear about it. I will just tell you anecdotally one story from about 10 years ago. And it touched my heart so much, it's why I continue to this day. The Cut Cane bus route. Little boy on that bus came up to the driver. It was the last stop of the day on a Friday. Somebody had left their bag. And he said to the driver, "Can I have that bag?" He had his own, but he needed that. He said, "That's all me and Mama have for the weekend." So I'm still at it, and with your help and God's blessing, we will continue to do this. Now, I have one ask, okay? I need your all's assistance. We're too big. We have grown too much. We're out of space. So if anyone can teach us, train us, coach us, direct us, or otherwise point us towards space and land, we are going to build a facility. We're going to get out of the run. We cannot do it any longer. If it's 700 this year, I guess it's going to be 800 next year. Okay? So we're out of room where we are. So any assistance, guidance, as I said, teach, train, coach, we'll take it. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Nunley, are y'all still underneath where Pete's Place?
Yes,
in
ma'am.
that facility?
We're still there.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'd like to invite you guys to come by and see what we're doing anytime. We're usually there Monday through Thursday. Wednesday's our big packing day. It's kind of a social event, and our volunteers have a really good time. But we'd love to show you what we do, and just let us know if you're available. But thank you very much, because you guys are just great working with us, and you're resource teachers, and it warms all of our hearts, and we all love what we do. So thank you for having us.
Thank you both very much. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you guys for the good work you do. Very commendable.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, the next item on the agenda is to review the strategic plan flow chart, and this is part of the requirements for exemplary board. So Dr. Ruth?
Good evening. Yes, this flow chart is something that I believe at least one of you asked for, something where we have everything that kind of pieces together, and we see the flow of how a lot of the different documentation that we take care of throughout the school system, again, how it all flows together and how it all connects. So not going to stand here and go through and click on every single one of these items. However, just wanted to show that this is up to date at this point, and it is live on our website. If you go to our Fannin County School System website and go to Vision and Mission and Strategic Plan, this will be there, and you can see that strategic plan that you all approved last board meeting, it guides everything else that we do. So on the left-hand side there, it guides all of our district improvement plans, our school improvement plans, all of our federal funding, our Cognia accreditation that we're in the throes of right now and going through, our Georgia Accrediting Commission accreditation. It guides all of that charter that we're also going through right now, renewal, our balanced scorecard, which that's our CCRPI, and that is also, of course, big with that strategic plan. The superintendent evaluation, as Ms. Dillard said, the exemplary board process, and our CTA Perkins plan. That strategic plan, it guides. It's the umbrella that guides everything else. And so we just wanted to have a nice little neat package, a graphic. Again, and all those links are live. If you click on anything, you just click on one as an example, Mrs. Collis. This is. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay. There you go. So this is an example. Again, all those on the website. If anyone goes to the website, all those links are live, and they've been updated since last school year. Just wanted to show that to you all.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is the Cognia Accreditation Evaluation Review. Our formal meeting will be on November 17th, which is coming up extremely quickly. But I wanted Dr. Ruth to review with you all what's going to be presented in that official review. Dr. Ruth?
Sorry, we're trying to get Mrs. Collis over here too. Yeah, just somebody else to run because Mrs. Collis is going to join me. And we're asking Mr. Drury to run the device. I don't know how this is going to go. It'll go better than me, though. As we know, if I sit there, the whole thing just completely falls apart. It really does.
Something.
Yeah.
You can't touch a computer.
Some kind of, it's like an electromagnetic field. If I sit over there, it just completely falls apart. So we are, as Ms. Dillard said, we are right here. Our big presentation is Monday with Cognia, and I did definitely want to invite Mrs. Collis up here with me because we've worked a lot behind the scenes, and she has a lot behind the scenes to probably since March, I would think, to just prepare for this day, prepare for Monday, and we submitted tons and tons of documentation. It was a pretty major process, where they ask a lot of questions, and it's very, very specific in terms of how you have to address everything that they're asking, and then they come back after you submit all that, and then they ask even more questions, and then you submit more, and then they ask more questions. So we've kind of gone through that process, and again, Monday will be our presentation where it'll be all hands on deck, and I'm sure that they'll have some questions they'll be asking, but again, we'll have principals in the room and academic coaches and lots of people. So just really quickly here, just wanted to go through just some of the things that they're going to talk about, just talk about the key points. First off, they look for key characteristics in these categories here. That's the culture of learning, the leadership for learning, and the engagement of learning, and the growth in learning. So those are the key characteristics, the big overarching key characteristics that Cognia is going to look at whenever we're going through our accreditation, and what they have been looking at as we've gone through our accreditation.
So there's 3 categories of data that they ask you for, and the first one is stakeholder feedback. The feedback that we gave them came from a variety of surveys and meetings where we solicited input. We had input from students, teachers, staff members. We had input from community members. We had input from the SGTs at the schools. We had input from school governance teams. Almost every stakeholder you could imagine, we solicited input from. Our student performance analysis was based on our CCRPI, our milestone scores. We looked at screener data that we did with our students, and we broke that down. We looked at PSAT, SAT, AP scores, and all of the data that we look at, we've trended over like several years to be able to come to a conclusion. And then for the learning environment observation analysis, Cognia has their own instrument that they want you to use. So when we went into the classroom, we've trended that data for 3 years now where we've used their instrument. The cool thing about their instrument that I really like is the focus is all about what the kids are doing. What are the students doing? And so when you're in there, you're watching the kids, not necessarily the teacher. And it just really flips the way you see things.
Yeah, I would add that too. That's the main thing about Cognia. It's very, very learner-specific, learner-centered. And then the stakeholder feedback, they're not necessarily concerned as much with what I have to say. They want to know, what do the students have to say? What does the boots on the ground have to say? That's what they're interested in. So that's a ton of what the stakeholder feedback, what came about there. Areas of strength coming through this process for our school system, and a lot of this kind of reinforced what we already knew, which was a good thing. It pointed us back to a lot of the stuff that we already predicted, but we do have a safe, respectful, supportive learning environment. We have strong communication, especially at the elementary level. We have commitment to the whole child approach to education, and we have successful implementation of our CTAE pathways, dedicated school governance team, and then demonstrate expertise and effectiveness of educators, strategic investment in safety measures, commitment to professional learning and standards-based instruction, and then consistent improvement in student achievement across grade levels. Areas of growth, we have, and again, this came from all of the different data that Mrs. Collis just talked about. One area of growth is instructional differentiation and student voice. One is secondary level communication, targeted support for specific subjects, timing and accessibility of family engagement events, upgrading our CTAE facilities, ELA and math standardized assessment results, progress monitoring and feedback, digital learning environment and active learning, and then widening achievement gaps for specific groups, leadership development and a succession plan when it comes to leadership, specific AP courses and the averages there, PSAT and SAT math scores, and then elementary literacy skills. And all of these, of course, we are tirelessly working on every single day to try to continue to improve.
So it was really neat when we came to the conclusion of what we learned from the process, because it was what we thought, but now we had like years of data to kind of back up what we thought. And so the big takeaways were, one is that performance always has a dual nature. We are always going to have strengths and we are always going to have challenges, and they ebb and flow. So we just need to be intuitive to what those are and be ready to meet those needs. Early intervention is the key. So many times kids come to us behind where they should be in relation to their peers. And so I feel like we work from behind a lot when we get kids. I think our pre-K program is really going to help us grow in that area. We also find that if we can just start really with a lot of early intervention, like for example, if there are intervention teachers that we have in the elementary schools, we see in our data that we're starting to close these gaps. We're starting to get back to where we need to be. The perception is that there's a communication gap at the secondary level. I will say perception in that not every survey instrument said that that was so, but there were some survey instruments that said that parents wanted a more frequent personalized communication, which I think is more of a one-on-one phone call at the secondary level. Not that communication wasn't going out massively, but they wanted to hear more personally from their students' teachers. And if you've been the parent of a high school child, you know sometimes they're less than reliable source of information. So there could be good reason for that.
The secondary level, you're just talking
Middle and high.
Okay, all right.
Yes, yes. And we do see teachers kind of back off of that a little more when kids transition to middle and high school from elementary school. But that is something now that we are aware of and we are definitely starting to promote. Our technology investment, we have a 1-to-1 ratio with our kids, and we were like, this is awesome, this is great. But then what we found was student engagement was going down as they were spending more time on their technology. So we already had been ahead of the game on that as a district, and our teachers had already noticed the same thing. And when you go into our classrooms now, you're not going to see kids locked in front of a computer screen, but they're going to be doing more interactive activities. Equity is a continuing challenge, as it is for any district. Our students with disabilities, our English learners, they still are a little behind their peers, and so we're going to work to close that gap. And then as far as getting a strong foundational environment, and I wanted to make sure that I told you exactly the words that were used, because this is what resoundingly came through, that people feel that our school system is safe, respectful, and supportive. And I think that that's a strong compliment throughout the entire system. And of course, we need to make sure that we have stability for succession and leadership. We have a lot of retirements coming up in the next 5 years. And so again, we have been proactive in our district with starting a program that this is actually our second go around of aspiring leaders to start building that leadership from within.
So just piggybacking off of that, so what we learned moving this knowledge into practice, these categories here, again, just essentially reiterating what Ms. Collis just said, but refining instructional strategies. So we're going to be focusing on that differentiation and that student voice, giving students that opportunity to have a voice when needed and when that makes sense. Literacy and math foundational skills, we're already rolling up our sleeves there. Active learning and real-world connections, progress monitoring and feedback. And then underneath the category of enhancing stakeholder engagement, again, as Mrs. Collis said, looking for those opportunities for personalized communication at the secondary level, flexible family engagement, and then SGT involvement. SGT, they've been, it's been a game changer for our school system, but those are people that just crave that involvement. I mean, they're there for a reason. They want to be involved. And so as many opportunities as we can give them to be involved, the better. Strategic program development and support, again, that targeted advanced placement support, and then the CTAE facility upgrades. Of course, those are coming. We're excited about that. And then homework support, addressing equity systematically, focusing with students with disabilities and our EL population, and then early intervention for our special needs students. And then finally, that leadership development, and that is what we'll be excited to share more and more about as we continue to have our new aspiring leaders cohort and our tier 2 leadership cohort that we'll talk more about in the near future. And then what we learn in priorities: narrowing achievement gaps for vulnerable subgroups, strengthening foundational literacy and numeracy skills in early grades, improving student engagement through active learning, differentiation, and effective technology integration, enhancing secondary communication and parent engagement, and targeted academic improvement in underperforming areas. So that kind of sums it up when it comes to our top priorities moving forward.
Excellent. Thank you both, and thank you for all the work that y'all have done pulling all this together. All right. Thank you. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is executive session, and I'd like to request executive session to discuss personnel, real estate, and safety. And Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, I'd like to invite Ms. Doss, Captain Couch, and Mr. Danner with us.
Yes, ma'am. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion before we go? All in favor by raising hand? It is unanimous.
I'm actually halfway ate before I came today.
We're gonna start having.
Start bringing barbecue.
Bring like at least pizza or
Hey,
something.
at least you might get some pizza. You got
That's
food.
not a bad idea.
Have food, people will come.
Board, I would entertain a motion to return from executive session.
So move.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor by raised hand? Thank you. Unanimous. No action was taken while we were in executive session. Madam Superintendent?
Then I would like to make a recommendation to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a
Second.
Got a second? All in favor by raised hand? They're adjourned.
All right.
For a few minutes.
Party
anyway.
down.
Yeah, you can go.
Well, we just got a few minutes. I won't be late.